Okay, thank you, Ben. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody in the room and everybody watching on Twitch. This is the first of what I hope to be a monthly poetry evening. Open mic, sort of. But more than that, we're looking at building a community. So we're going back to past contributors, and there are a few familiar faces here, as I've said already, and meeting new people. Um, I'm Alan, and I'm from Broken Spine, if you're not already familiar. We have a couple of other people here because we are working to sort of build relationships between magazines. That's really important to us. So, sort of co-hosting this event with me are Lizzie Kemball, who's here from. I mean, she does some work with us at Broken Spine, but she's the editor in chief. Is that right?
Just
Over
the
at
editor.
Resize magazine.
I'm not that fancy.
No, me too. We share our responsibilities, don't we? Okay. I was going to give Jay the opportunity to say some words at this point, but I don't think he's with us at this point. So, I mean, we can give him 60 seconds, or I can give him the opportunity to read later on. Yeah, I think we'll do that. Okay, then. I think it's probably best we just get stuck in. Don't you think? We're all here for one reason, aren't we? And that's to listen to some poetry. So I've got Emily first on my list. Are you happy to step forward, Emma?
Yep, thank you, Alan. I'm one of the past contributors to Broken Spine, and the first poem I'm going to read tonight is from issue 1 of the Broken Spine, and it's set in the Bronte Parsonage Museum. It's too quiet in here. I'm standing near the table, Charlotte's wallpaper, Anne's chair, the rumour Emily died on the sofa. The books are theirs. The box contains pens and ink, just out of reach. I don't feel the urge to touch. It's where strokes of ink build words, but the novels weren't created here. I'm going to do 2 short ones from my collection. The first one is about protests using bridal dresses to support the repeal of Article 522 in Lebanon, which was the one that absolved a rapist who married his victim. This is Bridal Dresses in Beirut. Each dress hangs from a noose. One is plain satin with scalloped lace, another an orgy of tulle. Dreamy organza with applique flowers hanging from wire, strung between palm trees. One is a short, a shift with a tulip skirt, the sort of dress picked in a hurry to satisfy a shotgun or Article 522. The breeze breathes through them, bullies the dresses into ghosts, brides with no substance, angels bereft of their voices. And I'm going to read the title poem, which is set in a bridal hire shop in a refugee camp in northern Iraq. This is the significance of a dress. Even if home is makeshift and her carriage is a borrowed pair of shoes that dance over gravel baked in the desert heat, a bride still wants to feel special, at least for one day. No one can afford to buy when 20 neighbours share a latrine and there's a constant vigil against disease. Tulin, named after a daughter, offers gown hire, makeup and hairstyling that will withstand humid evenings. I don't ask how old they are, says the beautician. A mural outside shows a girl in a white gown holding a teddy bear. The future is tomorrow, next year is a question. A wedding is a party, a welcome, a sign of hope. The dresses sparkle with sun-reflected diamante, but the gravel paths of the camp leave the hems stained. Thank you.
That was lovely, Emma. Thank you very much. Can you remember which issue that you were in? Was it Broken Spine 1?
It's the first one, yeah.
It was the first issue, and if I remember right, it was Bronte Bronte poem, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And what really struck Paul and I was the sense of place. And I think that's it. I mean, that's really important to us. So anybody who is considering submitting going forward, it really does give you a leg up. Not necessarily Northern England, but just creating a sense of place. So
Yeah.
we don't have Tom here at the moment. So I'm going to move on. And somebody else has just appeared. Barney. Nope, still no Tom. Okay. We'll move on then with Ellie, if that's okay. Eli Horan. Are you ready to read for us, Ellie?
You're still on mute, Ellie.
Do you want to unmute yourself, Ellie?
There we are. Hello, everyone. Thank you
Excellent.
so much for inviting me. It's so nice to see some new faces and some old friends. And I love being a part of Broken Spine Arts and everything you guys are doing. And super excited to have a poem in the upcoming issue. So I think I'll read the one from that to start, if that's okay. This is called Ghost Coup. She is the ghost of a former goddess, poetry princess, the giver of oceans and smiles, beautiful bangs and big sad eyes. Took a pill, too many pills, so many types, the water brackish, corrosive around her ankles, the imprint of a gun barrel between her worry lines like a henna marker, cherry plum circle of her dowry, gone dry. Mists ascending, the virgin no longer. There was so much to give to so many. Legs open, arms open, a mind spewing the words which mesmerize, entice, excite. Whom do they excite? The swirling whorls of masculinity, the stoic pillars, pillared type of matriarchy. And she still coos into your ear late at night, the ticking of the keys, fingernails upon each vertebrae, tapping out the braille meme for failure, your skin aroused, your whiskers bristling. She leaves a smell of must and rot, almonds, roses. Winter is coming, and all she can imagine is the young turtles dying. She wears a shawl and nothing else in this year, which is worsening. Maybe she dons an abandoned shell, or maybe she chooses to go bare, barren, no longer giving, wearing nothing at all. Thank you. I was a little nervous. It's so crazy. Like, however many times you do this, you still get that like adrenaline butt rush or something. And then you're like, oh, okay, I did it.
It's a wonderful poem, Ellie. Is that the first outing for Ghost Tube?
What's that?
Is that the first time you've read that poem?
Yeah, that is the first time, but I think I really
okay.
like reading it. I will read that again for sure.
It was excellent. It really made an impression on Kate, who was our guest reader.
Really? Oh, I'm so
Yeah,
pleased
definitely.
to hear that. I think it's definitely a feminist, poem. Kind of, I'm always questioning these roles that we're in, these gender roles and these boxes we're in. And I don't know, I just like playing with that. So do I have time to do one more? What should I do?
I think you've got time. We're slightly ahead of schedule. So
Okay. So I thought I probably should do a Sylvia poem since my book Just to the Right of the Stove has released now 2 weeks ago. So I was trying to quickly pick out a Plath doozy to read you guys. Let's see what I can come up with that I haven't read too many times before. Well, I like this one. Heavy woman drown. You've been in the dolorous morning since birth. Well, 8. Well, it was college. Fine, 30. Morning bells clang. The horse has colicked. Some fine steed he was. And look at you, woman, marching harmless to the mountain, who says, Mother, may I? Who asked Daddy permission? For whom does the church bell chime, knowing children will to suffer? I see in purples, shimmering, breathing pavement. It's the meds or anxiety. You shimmering as a salt lake, shallow, brackish, salinated, weightless water. You so heavy, arms caked with white granules, caked upon your face for lack of softer caviar. This is fish eggs in the grave. My belly cut, sturgeon style to eat with crisps and champagne. It's Russian tea time. Rocks succumb to my pockets. Heavy woman, drown, drown, drown. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you for your nice comments, everyone. Can I do one more, a Frida one, a Frida Kahlo? I'm working on a new, it's a bit short.
Yeah, sure. You're going to read one from your most recent work that you're putting together at the moment.
Well, that one, the one I just read is from the Plath collection. That's just out.
Sorry. For anybody who doesn't know, Ellie's already had a collection. Was it out on? Oh, go on. You remind me your Frida collection that you've already put out.
My Frida, oh yeah, so I have a book called Self Portrait, which came out in 2020
Fly
some
on the
point.
wall.
Yeah.
Was that Fly on the Wall?
Yeah.
And at
No,
present you're
it
working
was,
on the follow-up.
it was Cephalo Press.
Oh, there we go.
Yep. And when I was in the UK, read a lot of those poems on tour, and you know, people really relate to Frida, and you know, I just feel very connected to her as a artist and woman and feminist and someone who struggles with pain, chronic mental illness type pain. So I would write poems about her paintings, acrostic style. And I'm working on a new fresh book. It's looking for a publisher, but this is a brand new one, and it's called Para Dolores.
Okay,
Frida was
Ellie.
very, yeah. Frida was very openly bisexual in her life and in her relationships. And so this was to one of her lovers who was a movie starlet in Mexico City. Para Dolores from 1939. No somos malas, Zamora. Touch me, lover. I long to feel your hand touching my neck. Drape my arm between your legs as if a last bastion for ease. I feel the arch of your live little foot, delicate as a root, securing itself to my knee. It will not be ripped away, will not succumb to the earth falling away. Into the mouths of men, they impose their vine of phallic truth, reaching for the sky, strangling the earth, touching nothing of consequence except for themselves. Flash of red, flash of evil, according to whom? God, the devil, men, los señores, well-educated terrorists who would rather let the world bleed from between our thighs rather than consider that I might prefer your touch, your kiss. Lithe tongues, which perform the tango each time we enter the forest, each time we dance, intertwine chalice to chalice, once touching we are divine. The orgasms will be red, we own nothing, no sublimation. Thank you, everybody. I love reading in the voice of Frida. It makes me very happy. Thank you for letting me share.
Not a problem at all, Ellie. Thank you very much.
Yeah, my
I mean, if we're trying to stick to a tight schedule, hello, Jay. I noticed that you've managed to join us. Are you the sole representative, Jay, from Sage Cigarettes with us here this evening?
I believe so, but
You want to say a couple of words?
yeah, of course. Thanks everyone for attending, obviously. Sorry it took me so long to get into the chat. My laptop decided to shit itself. Thanks for coming along to this event and supporting this great club, supporting Broken Spines, Broken Reside, and obviously supporting Sage. I think our content coordinator, Elle, might be in the Twitch chat. But yeah, thanks. And thank you for your support.
Not a problem at all, Jay. Thanks for that. I should mention again that hello to everybody who is watching us on Twitch. I think there's about 7 or 8 people on there at the moment. There are opportunities, if you feel like it, to leave a tip behind, which will go towards the running costs and future publications and all them types of things. So I don't want to dwell on that too much. So let's move on, shall we? Katie Jenkins, you are next up to read. Are you happy?
Yes.
Excellent.
Can you hear me
Katie.
okay?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Excellent.
Just mute myself and I'll let you introduce yourself if that's okay.
Gosh, how do I follow Ellie? Well, I'll just have to, won't I? I'm Katie Jenkins, and I am incredibly nervous. I'm almost as nervous as I was earlier cutting my own fringe. But that seems to have gone all right, so hopefully this will too. I have a poem in the forthcoming edition of The Broken Spine, which I'm super excited about. So I'm going to read that one first. It's called OK Mary, and it's a sort of answer to Mary Oliver. I don't know if there's any Mary Oliver fans here. She's not everyone's cup of tea, but I certainly am a fan. And there's a wonderful line at the end of her poem, The Summer Day, where she asks, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? And I thought, wow, that's a great question. And I wrote this poem a couple of years ago, actually, or a version of it, you know, before the lockdown. And the kind of impulse that it describes is only intensified by the current situation and the lockdown, etc. So what do I plan to do with my one wild and precious life? Well, this poem was an exploration of that. So, okay, Mary, I'll run away and ride the roller coaster in Blackpool over and over again till I'm sick. I'll park the car in the middle of the cul-de-sac like a roundabout, like a glorious monument. They'll say poor parking. I'll say good. Burn the windscreen note. Run a marathon, cook a roast, paint a room, take a lover, take 2 lovers. Take showers in the middle of the day. Sleep. Waft in a caftan. Write a poem, a novel, a play. Play myself. Stay up all night debating quantum physics. Do the school run on roller skates, make hallucinogenic risotto. Take ecstasy, take DMT, pick the brains of dead relatives. Paint my face with edible glitter. Have someone delicious lick it off. Dance. Dive with sharks, drive to Peru in a cut and shut limo with a haversack and 100 close friends in fancy dress. Play progressive house at 5 a.m. Invite everyone I ever knew to come and sing karaoke. When people ask me what I'm up to now, I'll tell them. They'll say crazy. I'll cartwheel away down the road. We'll live somehow.
Thank you very much, Katie. You know, when you receive submissions as an editor, there are some that immediately you can say yes to, and that was one that blew all 3 readers away.
Wow.
So there was never any debate that was going to find a home. And your delivery is lovely. You should not feel in any way nervous. Did you have something else to read?
I have got another poem I can read, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course. I think we're going to be well ahead of schedule, so I'm certainly interested to listen.
Fabulous. I'll go for it then. So this one's called Reclamation, and it's a poem I wrote after one of many thousands of lockdown walks. And if you're all doing lots of those, but I was on one and I found this. I don't know if you can see that, but I found this strange little tile on the ground with my initial on it. You know, it's crazy. I was sort of thinking, what on earth is it? And I think perhaps it's some sort of Scrabble tile, but it doesn't have the number, the value of the letter on it. So, I just don't know what it is. If you've got ideas, please let me know. But the poem sort of sprung from finding this, and I'd had a strange day as it was. So, so here's the poem, Reclamation. I wasn't real again today. A cold caller called me Mrs. something. I corrected them that I am Ms, but it didn't make me real. I had 89 likes, but they didn't make me real. In my library book, I found wolf scrawled on a scrap of torn paper. It didn't make me real. I walked along the bridle path between the high hedges, tracking horseshoe prints in the banks of mud. In the furrows, a spray of broken crockery lay, terracotta triangles and willow pattern fragments. Amongst them, a filthy Scrabble tile bore my initial, Kappa, Kelvin. It didn't make me real. I plucked it from the clay all the same. Capital letters didn't make me real. There is no precipitation today, but I know in time I will walk once more along the bridle path and leave my footprints in the snow.
Thank you very much, Katie.
Thanks, everyone.
Do you have a collection that you've to plug, or are you still
I
writing?
wish. My first pamphlet feels like a bold and audacious pipe dream.
Yeah.
But maybe one day.
I'm sure you'll get there.
Thank you. I intend to try.
Excellent. Thanks very much. I think moving on, we've got Matthew Smith from Blackbow, and I mean there are some poets here who I've not met before, but I would be surprised if anybody can read with any more gravitas than Matthew does. So I'm setting you up here, and I'm sure you're going to deliver. But I love listening to Matthew.
Thank you. That's total pressure. I literally haven't read at all for about 8 weeks, and you use that word gravitas.
Go for it, Matthew.
Oh, cheers, Alan. Yeah,
knock our socks off.
Thank you. It also isn't easy following those poems, which were brilliant. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, I'll just read 3 short poems. Pressure totally on. Thank you. Okay, the first poem I will read is Eagle. Hang on a second. Excuse me a second. I'm very rusty with recently. Okay, Eagle. Peak hunter, plunger of cliffs, gliding over ridges of dawn. In speed on leagues of wind and wave, sharp sight ablaze as rings of fire consuming light, spiriting prey in foothill mists and ascending spirals in dusk, a spectre before night. Thank you. And the second...
I wasn't wrong, was I? You certainly delivered.
That felt rusty, but there we are. Thank you very much. You are very kind. Right, my next poem is coming up now. Okay. This is a poem called Cosmos. I write lots and lots of poems about stars. Cosmos. From static, we make our slow Rosetta, linger lone in void of dark. No one can hear us in these rooms of silence. This is our language of stars, fingers of intricate play and movement. there are lights, faint and far. As moths, we are drawn and dance. Thank you. Okay. And the third piece I had published in Anti-Heroin Chic recently. Absolutely fantastic press. Very, very, very similar to Broken Spine. Publish quite sort of edgy stuff. And I wrote this for Anti-Heroin Chic. So, excuse me a second. As I said, I am rusty. Okay. This is called Abyss. Light a taper. Listen to a note echo through the vault. The draft will shake the flame. At the end of a wave, silence. Stand with black all around you and feel anything there may be. Any way you turn is eternity as light sears the void. At the altar, stand before a window of celestial light. Dive through dolphin dark, plunge through shattered glass into abyss. Thank you.
Matthew, have you ever heard the recording of W.B. Yeats that was made? It was like,
yeah,
it was like one of the earliest.
Once, yeah.
He has he has a very reedy voice, but the same sort of gravitas as with you. It's like, I will arise and go.
I will rise. Brilliant.
Superb, Matthew.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. Have you got anything that you ought to be plugging at the moment, Matthew?
Yes, I do.
What have Black Bow been up to in the last couple of weeks? Go on.
I'm trying to find a book I've just edited. Some of you have it. It's called Under Photon Crowns. And it's a very cosmic kind of poetry book. There's poetry and prose. And it's by a Welsh writer, Di Fry. I don't think he's been in Broken Spine, but I might be wrong. I don't think he has. He's not very well currently. We've just done a chapbook, so I'm doing a lot of promo for it. But Under Photon Crowns, which is here somewhere, it is absolutely fantastic. It's on Amazon, and it really does. It really shows a writer at the top of his game. It's just very, very unfortunate that he's not well at all. But anyway, thank you, Alan, for that, and thank you also for a chance to plug his really good book. Thank you.
It's okay. I mean, I've heard Di read before, and Di has a similar delivery to Matthew from what I can remember. His work is fabulous. I just don't think we've received any work from his at Broken Spine yet.
No.
Hopefully we will in the future.
Yeah,
obviously
sure.
We wish him a speedy recovery.
Yeah,
Okay.
cheers.
Thanks, Matthew. I have Patrick Widdess on my list next, but well, I don't think he's either with us, and nor has he confirmed to read. Patrick is, I think, in the upcoming issue of Broken Spine. So if he's not going to be with us, we'll jump straight to Lizzie from Reside.
Hi guys, and also hi on behalf of Reside. It's really great to see some of our past contributors here and see some of you face to face, as this is the first open mic we've done. I've got 2 poems to read for you, and the first one is going to be in the upcoming edition of The Broken Spine, and it's called Kitchen Storms. I peel potato moons and wash them in warm water, The skin falls into the sink like tea leaves in the bottom of a chipped china cup. I try to read my fortune in them. It paints nothing but dirt. With this plastic peeler, my fingers cramp, but I cannot make a perfect sphere, only flat tiers of translucent skin. The starch makes snow of the silver sink. I have lost my way in the kitchen storm. When I find myself again, I am shaving potatoes, creating little imperfect moons. Thank you. And the second poem is something I've written during my MA and have not sent anywhere yet. So no one will have read this one before. It's called Mother's Yellow Rubber Gloves. A leaf the colour of papaya's flesh clings to the open air of the white window's edge. Its stem, barely a shaft of light in the autumn grey, spins with the breeze. The wind holds it, a conker's string. Swing, swing, swing. How has spring weathered so fast? Curl the edges of everything into dried orange peel that drowns in my marmalade. Veneer pulling from the back of the wardrobe, the cappuccine froth of cataract eyes, the silence of missing you. The church bell chimes 3 times and the orange sisters, impatient, queue on the branches, push and then pull, mother's yellow rubber gloves grabbing her fingers. Inside the office, a man talks nothingness down the telephone and his whiteboard reads negative. Everything else sits in shadow. Mother's son walks through the gap between 2 branches. Everything is on fire. The leaf clings to the white window's edge, to the silence of missing you. Thank you. And plugging things, Resides submissions close at midnight tonight. So if any of you want to send some poetry, pop over to our website and send us some. We've got a submissions form up there. Between you and me, the submissions form will probably be up till tomorrow morning because I'm not staying up to midnight to close it. So usually you get till the next morning to actually do it. But thank you for letting me read, and thank you everybody who's come on behalf of Reside.
Thank you very much, Lizzie. Nice to hear that unheard poem before. I'm getting a message that Patrick is watching on Widdess and hadn't received our Zoom link. So unfortunately, I missed the first one. I was looking forward to listening to that one, but I've sent it to him now, so he might join us shortly after. Once he's here, if he can, somebody can let me know. If they spot him before I do, that'd be wonderful. We'll try and fit him in to be flexible there. So what we'll do now immediately is move on, if that's okay. And I have Sarah ready to read next.
Hi. So my name's Sarah O'Connor. I am a very new poet. So this is actually the first time I'm reading. So bear with me if I screw it up. The first poem I want to read is a poem called Our House, and it was published by Abridged magazine last year. Our house. Our house is dotted with shells and stones. An icy chiseled quartz sits on the bookshelf in the lounge, shot through with peach and silver. There are smooth white pebbles I collect, worn down by sea and skin, on speakers, bedside tables, window ledge. A tellin with a hollow that perfectly fits my little thumb sits in purple coat pocket, found anew each winter till its origin is long forgot. A cockle with ridges to stroke in relaxing ritual lives on your side of the bed. Its companion, another snowy stone, shot through with lightning bolt of grey. Split in two, but together, like us. Static between us, once electric, now a wall of white noise. We've walked on many beaches, sat staring out to sea with worry stones under fingers, but we always bring them home. Tomorrow, I will clean this house top to bottom, gather everyone, and Sunday we will catch a train to Brighton to leave them on the shore. And the second poem I want to...
Sarah.
Oh. Thanks, Alan. And the second poem I wanted to read, I'm thrilled that Broken Spine have accepted for the next issue, and it is called West Pier. There was no grand fire that undid the western pier. Despite current appearance, decline was gradual and insistent. Winter waves scraping, grabbing handfuls of skin and hair with each lick since 1975. This century, someone with a heightened sense of the theatrical let flames loose to create a picture of dramatic death. As ignorant passers-by observe a piece of modern art, filling in the gaps with convenient truths.
Thank you very much, Sarah. I hope that you'll be happy when you see your poem in print, because we've been jigging around the order and how things go, and we've placed your poem. I think it's alongside a picture from Western Supermare here. It's a fantastic photograph. It really is striking, and I mean, at Broken Spine, and I mean, not just us, but there's plenty of people out there who think that poetry and images go hand in hand together. It really does help enhance your piece.
Brilliant, thank you.
Okay, no problem at all. Moving on, I see that we're slightly behind schedule now, but I'm sure we'll be okay. We'll catch up. I've got Joe Williams. So, Joe.
Hello, thanks, Alan. Hi, everyone. From
Hi,
here
Joe.
in Leeds. I've lived in Leeds for a long time, but I grew up in the northeast, and I'm going to start off with a short poem with a northeast connection. This one was in the Broken Spine issue 2, I think it was. It's called Roar to Whisper. They shift from roar to whisper in a bowl of black and white, where Jackie's name and Keegan's flame still burn in every song. From Lisa's to the Gallaghet, for heroes old and new, while I inspect my fingernails and think about the sea. Thank you, that's that one. And that's going to be in a pamphlet I've got coming out in May, which is called The Taking Part, and it's a short collection of poems on the theme of sport and games. But being poems, they're not really about those things at all. They just use that as an excuse to do whatever the hell they want, as poems do. So I'll give you another that's going to be in that. I don't know if anyone here knows the Spanish poet Alicia Fernandez, who's a very good friend of mine. She lived in Leeds until a couple of years ago when she moved back to Spain. And in the last World Cup, I went to the pub with her to watch a Spain game. And we were talking about Spanish insults, which it turns out are much better than English ones. I don't know if anyone here is a Spanish speaker. If they are, then they may be able to translate. The title of the poem, you need to say it in a football results announcer voice. It's Portugal 3, Spain 3. Knowing I'd be with you, I've been practicing your language. So when he scores the penalty, instead of fuck off, cheating shit, I have something more poetic. Que te fue un pez. You equalise, but he scores again. So I stand, shout at the screen, Hijo de las mil putas, in revenge for 2006. When you take the lead, I realise that I'm unprepared, educated only in insults, curses, have nothing for this beyond Ariba, CCC. In the end, his hat trick allows me to unleash me cago en tu madre. And I no longer worry, for now, about not knowing what to say or how to say it. Thanks very much. Goodbye.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Love that. Love that. Very brave to be reading in a second language that you're not overly familiar with.
Thank you. I'm Joe, not Patrick, though.
You are Joe, not Patrick. I'm just messaging Patrick at the same time. My apologies. Okie dokie. So moving forward, Morag Anderson, would you like to step up to the plate?
I'm here. I'm at the plate.
Hi, Morag. Morag is one of the featured poets in the upcoming issue of The Broken Spine. We usually pick out 2 or 3 poets, a youth poet, so that's under 19, and 2 others that really sort of stand out. And they end up with a couple of poems rather than just one. And we really want to celebrate. Morag's work was, I mean, it really blew us away. It was a definite yes from the very first time we read it. So with that in mind, I've not heard her read, but I'm sure she'll do her work justice. Go for it.
Well, thank you very much for those great words, Alan. I'm thrilled to be part of the collective. Tough gig to follow though, Joe. Takes a lot to make a Scot smile about football that's not Scottish based, so impressed. So I'm going to read 3 poems. The first 2 are in the next Broken Spine collection. I was inspired by the inspirational playlist, which had a lot of jazz on it. I'm a big John Coltrane fan. I've never thought to write a poem about jazz, but Alan and his inspirational list did its job and inspired me. Riding the slow train. When my departure point turns to rust, and the boards on which I sit soften, I slip the sleeve. When sheets of rain keep me awake and my body aches for arms of sleep, I lift the needle. When my temple's shell starts to crack and my tread on water leaves no mark, I choose revolution. When I decode the darker phrase that slays my skin with violet sound, I escape like bottled light. When notes, seated in long play grooves, smooth the furrows of train's black brow, no sound on earth is innocent. The second one is called 2 Things I Know, Father Byrne. Having been brought up strictly in the doctrines of the Catholic Church, I soon gave up on that particular toxic relationship. Apologies if that's offensive to some. 2 things I know, Father Byrne. The size of the needle's eye through which I am observed will remain unchanged, whether I borrow modesty from a pencil's nib or score my flesh with truths, so honeyed they carve contrails and skies above my gunmetal town. The length of eternity for you, who stalks the walled grounds stark and forlorn, is equal to that of my lover, who leans in thorn-threaded hedgerows, naked as winter's larch, and waits for me to prick his sensibilities with the tip of my tongue.
Thank you very much, Morag. Hearing them read for the first time really does bring them to life, doesn't it?
I've not read those, so that's it's great to be able to do that. Have you got time for one more?
I think we've got time for another short one, if that's okay with everybody.
I'll be quick.
Go for it.
2 doors down. He conjures coins from Sunday scrubbed ears, the king of clubs from hems of skirts, daftest dad in our street. But when sleep snuffed his household, he slunk from stagnant sheets, placed a hesitant hand upon the door's rose, and crossed the lilac carpet to finger the pink candlewick. Choosing to believe in space created by the child, rigid to ponies papered to her wall, he slid in. But when truth awoke his household, he shrunk inside his bleeding brain, was left too dead to repent. No one collected his ashes. They believe he is burning yet. Thank you. That cheerful little number is the lead, the opening poem in my pamphlet, which is coming out with Fly on the Wall Press in August, titled Sin is due to open in a room above kitties. So hoping that lockdown is a little bit easier so we can have some kind of party to celebrate the launch. Thank you for having me here tonight. Thanks for listening, guys.
Not a problem, Morag. If anybody does have a collection out and they want to leave the details either in the chat here or as we've been plugging through our website, Jay has kindly set up our Discord account or platform. So over on Discord, if you're au fait with technology and new platforms, there is a workshop where you can run your poems by a whole host of very talented poets and editors who will offer you feedback, but also you can share your successes over there. So when you've got a publication coming out, there's a barrel of fish there that you can go shooting. Okay. I'm going to come to the real Patrick this time. So apologies again, Joe. We'll go to Patrick if you're ready to read.
Yes.
Hi, Patrick. Apologies for the confusion there, but we've got you with us now, haven't we?
Yes. Yeah, and I'd like to start with my poem, which is coming out in the next issue. It's called Evening Entertainments. After dinner, we arranged for guests on the settee and dimmed the lights for the evening entertainment. My father laid me out on the coffee table, placed newspaper on the floor, and took a saw to my swollen abdomen. Reaching inside, he produced a coat hanger, dinner plate, hammer, and nails. It was worth the effort of swallowing and the stomach cramps during tea, to see the looks on their faces, and for the glass of milk and 2 chocolate digestives at bedtime, after mother had sewn me up with the itchy black thread. That's that one. And this is called The Problem with Living Underwater. At least getting out of bed's easy. You're usually out already, tangled in the duvet, weighty as a whale's waistcoat. Then it's time to dress. Socks stick to the ends of your feet. Trousers pull you in all directions. Shirts billow and won't be buttoned. No chance of a hot bath or invigorating cold shower. Breakfast is bread that's too soggy for fish food, and cornflakes and milk that don't mix. The newspaper floats through the letterbox and disintegrates before you've read the front page. No time to sit down with the crosswords. No time for anything, now the car's broken down and the walk to work takes 4 hours. Why bother when you arrive to a desk full of rusted stationery, waterlogged documents, a malfunctioning PC, and weak, lukewarm coffee? And every minute, gasping, you ascend to the surface, breathe deep and return to this world where it takes 20 minutes to tie a shoelace, and we speak in a silent language of bubbles. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Have you read before?
Not here, but yeah, here and there.
Lovely. Okay, well, hopefully we'll see you again. It seemed like a quite a comfortable read for you.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hadn't seen your name previously in any of the other events we've been to, but hopefully we'll see you again. Thank you very much for your time. I'm going to try and move on and catch up a little bit of the time that we've got. So quickly moving on to Zoe Mitchell, if she's about. Are you here, Zoe? Do you want to say hello?
Hello. Yes, I'm here. Hello.
Hi, Zoe. Sorry, you weren't on my screen at the time. Are you ready to go, Zoe?
Yes, I'm ready to go. I've got a couple of poems to read. So the first poem is the one that's in the upcoming issue of the Broken Spine. And it's about Helena Blavatsky, who was a famous medium and spiritualist. And I was really fascinated by her. She was born in the 1800s and she had this incredible life. And so whether or not she was magical or could talk to the dead is obviously, up to what your belief is. But what is unquestionable is the incredible sleight of hand that she pulled in the life that she lived. So this is Madame Blavatsky, Queen of Cuffs. Behold, we have before us something unremarkable. A baby girl, not worth educating, born into corsets and codes of conduct. Now, look at our great Madame, who took that punch in the stomach and never flinched. The blows kept on coming, a dour look, 2 bulging eyes, an excess of chins, but she stayed on her nimble feet. Next came the gold ring that had her manacled to a man more than twice her age. She tore through those bonds as if they were paper, unlocked the door to the library and found so many other worlds in those books. Some you can reach by crossing an ocean if you dare, but others lie back in the unfathomable past or beyond a veil. Not content to dream, our Madame woke up and went in search of new gods from the East who blessed her freedom. Watch her now, waving her hands as she speaks of spirits, light fractures through the rubies and garnets on her rings. Has she travelled to occult lands, conversed with otherwise mute apparitions? Ladies and gents, we must try to unravel the conundrum. Does she have power beyond the mortal realm? This much we know. Here was a most unpromising woman, stout and untidy, and she cast her azure eyes across continents, lived with lovers, smoked cigarettes and hash with abandon, wrote books as if no one had ever tried to cinch her in. Perhaps she had dubious morality, but she gave comfort to soldiers when they needed it most, cured mothers and beloveds sick with horror at otherwise irreparable loss. We can't say it was all hokum when she unwound every rope that tried to bind her, held her breath in the water tank of whispered gossip and flat accusation, escaped every time her society tried to strap on a straitjacket. So that's Madame Blavatsky. I highly recommend Googling her. She's awesome. And the other poem I'm going to read is from my debut collection, Hag. Bit of a running theme with me of unruling women, not just really my poems. So this is the poem Hag. Wicked or wise, at my root is nothing but joy, but no one wants you to know that. There's no profit in me. I could only beg for the things I'm meant to want, but no one can make me want them. I feel so old, and not from the sorrow on my shoulders. It is the silence behind. Strange new gods are being born, and not from the mess I make or the strange scents that emanate from my quarters. Through the smoke and my eyes smeared windows, I see everything and mutter as I pull who knows what from my hair, smiling my crooked smile. I am kept at a distance to stop my song reaching your ears. Wake up from your dream and run. The future may be crouched, waiting to eat out your heart, but it must catch you first. Thank you.
Excellent. I love the ending to that second poem, Zoe.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
When it came to working with Kate on our last project, the sort of the soundest piece of advice that she gave us was that a poet ought to finish on an image. Too many poets leave the extra line in. So whether we spoke to you about it, we did speak to a whole bunch of people who submitted to us. We can chop that last line and leave the reader wanting more. And I think you really did it excellently there.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, going forward, I have Imogen ready to read. Is Imogen with us? Imogen Smiley. Again, I can't see her. There you are, top left of my screen.
Hi. Sorry for disappearing. My internet dropped. Apologies for any background noise. I have 4 dogs and it's dinner time. I've got one poem for you tonight. It was published by Mookie Chick in October of 2020. It's called And Like Icarus Before Her. I'm very sorry, I'm really rusty. I haven't performed in like 2 years since the pandemic. We harpies are destined to roam the skies, but our corpses are greeted by earth. We cannot live on the ground. Humans don't take well to monsters in their midst. We're expected to claw our way into the air. Stragglers are left for death by assimilation or the hunt. You must master flight with haste so you can rise above the rest of your flock, or die trying. Strong flyers seldom reach the summit. They're torn from heaven's peak by those beside them. The clouds weep, masking our crossed swords and bloodshed. We're not sociable creatures, and all energy is expelled in our feeble clawing at the clouds, too high for us to break through, with someone clinging to our ankles. It's all dead weight once you're that close. Our legendary shortcomings are undeserving of the tales of goodness. We will never be Daphne. Our failings will be stricken on vases, our warning of the wrath of a flightless harpy. We harpies do battle in the sky, crimson claws painted with the blood of fallen sisters, shielded by storm clouds as talons tear skin. We have long since dropped our weapons, and now we fight like men. Our war cries start a monsoon. This is the siege of Troy, but Helen has relinquished her bow and quiver and ripped Paris' heart out for herself. But as harpies swarm the lofty Pantheon and gladiators march us in, my eyes settle upon my next opponent, the next victim to fall out of our vaporous Olympus. She has the touch of Midas, weightless in comparison. She has powerful legs beneath her, always did. We were fledglings that learned to fly together, but now we circle each other in our thunderstorm Colosseum, waiting for the first move. The dance begins as lightning divides us. Victory is certain, a fact of the universe, like life, like death, like gravity. One has to fall. She uproots feathers from my skin, and I claw at her face in a desperate plea to blind her like Oedipus past. But she slashes my back and watches me fall, and kicks me with her scaly foot for good measure, rearing upward toward the light, looking down as I plummet towards earth. She sneers as the clouds shun the exiled, and so she falls. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Imogen. You would not guess that you haven't read for a time. Not at all. It was a polished performance. Thank you very much. Have you got anything that you ought to be plugging and tell us about?
I wish. I do
Not at all.
have, I am the social media manager for Mookie Chick. So as a Mookie Chick person, I'm just going to say, subscribe to Mookie Chick. You'll see a lot more of me over there. Thank you so much.
Not a problem at all. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on, I have Elizabeth Sigler. Am I pronouncing everything properly there? Elizabeth?
Yep, you've got it.
Okie dokie. Where are you joining us from?
Ohio, United
Ah,
States.
right, okay. And you were published in?
In Reside magazine. Let me link you. Issue 7.
Thank you very much. And I'll leave you to read, if that's okay.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, so I'm actually not a poet. I hope that's okay. I've been told I'm poetic. The piece I have is a flash fiction. It's called Postcard to Past Selves. So yeah, so that's what this is. This was actually inspired by multiple people, but it is based on only one conversation. Okay. The interview took 60 to 90 minutes, a sign that I must have done all right. Anne and Olivia took turns asking me questions. A different one near the end stuck out above all the others. If you were an animal, which one would you be? In our final session last year, my therapist went over a literary theory. You know the legend of Dracula? Bram Stoker wasn't as fascinated by occult lore as he was concerned for a female friend or family member who suffered at the hands of a narcissist. She was metaphorically sucked dry. My answer? A chameleon. It was my flexible workplace self that said it. My true after-hours self was shut away inside, digging, determined to understand how that came up, slipped out, what it revealed. Maybe I didn't mean it. Maybe it was all talk. Pick me, pick me. I'm a cool chameleon. Better to be a desperate go-getter than a fucking vampire. Last time I was over to help pet sit, we both had too much. Something sharp you said at the end of the night sent my jaw thudding to the floor. I stood there sandwiched between your two dogs, watched you ascend the spiral staircase. You stopped halfway up. I'm not a nice person. It was to be taken as a flippant joke, or maybe as a warning. My hand gripped the bottom groove of the banister. Another question people like to ask. If you could have any superpower, what would it be? Limitless elasticity. I would reach out right now across all 950 of these miles, like I should have reached all the way out in that moment. The end.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It was interesting to hear somebody read a piece of flash fiction like that, rather than the poem. And whoever told you were poetic was right.
Good.
Without a shadow of a doubt. I'm going to say this as a slight spoiler alert. We have a little bit of an announcement for the Broken Spine going forward. We will be encouraging some flash fiction submissions in the future for publication on the website. So definitely consider sending something to us. Okay, more details will follow. I'm not going to give too much away at the moment for stealing anybody's thunder. Okay.
Alan, I don't want to interrupt you, but Elizabeth is chomping at the bit.
Would you like to say something, Elizabeth?
Go on, I might as well say it now because I know Lucy won't be joining. So me and my friend Lucy are going to actually be running this microfiction section at the Broken Spine. And it is going to be, as Alan said, on the website. And it's going to be really fun to get to see some people submitting different forms and to add that to sort of the Broken Spine's repertoire. We're going to be posting about more info this month, so the submissions will start next month, and then we'll start getting stuff up, but hopefully we'll see some of you submitting there.
Yep, and what Elizabeth doesn't know is that providing we can secure funding, that will not just be something that goes through the website. Hopefully in the future, once we have a series of quality work, we'll be looking to put that out in print as well. Okay, so like I said at the top, we have massive plans for the Broken Spine this year. It's going to be huge for us, hopefully. Okay, so moving on. David Walshe, are you there?
Hi, Alan. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Dave.
You okay?
I'm fine. Do you want to go
Good.
ahead? And
Yeah. I'm just bear with me. I'm gonna read some new ones if that's okay. The first one, right, here we go. This is called The Carrot Factory, and it's about a job that I had when I was 15 years old and 16. Okay. Last embassy strained before creeping inside. Scampi and lemon knickknacks, then bed. Tomorrow I start at a carrot factory. My heavy head rises, stolen from slumber, with each progressive bleep from my pager. We gather outside the imp. Last night traced upon faces. Our shuttle arrives. Time to join more zombies. Good night, mate. Kingsway fucked. Soon, carrots of all descriptions becloud a bedraggled field of vision. I notice a Tesco truck, and it feels meaningful for a split second.
Excellent, Dave. That was it's a deviation from some of your other work, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you want to let people know what it's for?
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
You don't have
myself,
to tell them where or why, but who we are, yeah, what we're doing.
Yeah, myself, Alan, Paul Robert Mullen, and Mary Earnshaw, we're working on a. It's for what's the magazine? Sorry, Alan, is it?
I think it's for Drake, is it?
Yeah. So we're working on a little project. I think there's going to be 10 poems each. Well, we're going to submit to it anyway. It's called the Alliance. That's it. Yeah. So. Yeah, so we're currently working on that at the moment, and yeah, we're just sort of giving each other feedback on all the poems and stuff. So these are quite. Usually, all the poems that I've written previously have been based on sort of local history, but I'm starting to write about other things now. So have I got time to do another one, or?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, right. This one's called Plain and Seaboard, and it's about moving back to my hometown. Me and my wife moving back to our hometown after we lived away for about 10 years. So it's just gives us a sense of place, really. Okay. It was that first look out of the window, then at one another. We knew. Nothing but trees, no straight lines, just the slink of a giant birch. When we moved, I'd noticed the weight of stillness, pushing nature's frequency upon me. Ears tuned to birdsong, eyes to a canopy, dancing between bouts of stray sunlight. By night, pipistrelles pirouetted around a twilight circuit, awaiting Tawny's holler. Come daybreak, gulls circled to remind us we'd arrived home.
That's the second one that we've been working on together, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah.
It is. It's new, and Dave, I mean, he firmly established himself in the Broken Spine and in a number of other magazines with those historical poems that he's been writing. But it's really nice to see the other side, Dave, because we sort of knew he was in there trying to unlock it and getting writing about something.
Yeah.
As good as the other poems were, it's nice to hear them other things coming out of him, and it's quite exciting to be working with him on a project like we are doing at the moment. At the moment, I don't think you've got anything out other than that, have you? I mean, feel free to leave links to your socials and stuff in the chat.
Cool, yeah.
Go on.
Sorry to interrupt. I was just going to say, if I may, David has a wonderful poem out in the Southern collection of Sage cigarettes that came out around Christmas time.
Oh, yeah.
So you can find it on our website. I'll leave a link down below.
That was Auld Mar Ciders, was that right?
Oudmar ciders, yeah.
Okay, dokie. So moving forward, I have Russell.
Hello, everyone.
Hi,
Nice to meet
Russell.
you.
I don't think we've met before, have we?
We have not.
We have. We
I'm
have
meeting
now, though.
from New York, the northern Hudson Valley. That's in New York.
Fantastic. Do you want to let us know who you are, where you come from, which magazine, and I'll let you crack on. Yeah.
Yep. I'll be reading you a poem entitled "Down My House," which was in issue 8 of Reside Zine Gothic. Night lights, fading placebo fuse. Happiness is an irreplaceable inner bulb. The cat snoring from somewhere in the house, her untraceability. Sounds like it's coming from everywhere in the house, southwestward leaning. Maybe she's in the junk room, from the end of the sun. Sound travels here like memory, unlike the way family disrepair snores. A sound that travels different, a mask-laden creep, not for concealment or safety, half cloaked without occupant, tearing up the airwaves with gloves that pretend everything is all right. From the foyer, is it? I can't tell. The sound causes exactly half of my brain to fall asleep without me. Night lights, but none of that motion sensor fanciness. Not the slow Jerry Mulligan, the one that makes you feel most like you're smoking and drinking the smallest basement at 2 a.m., slow dancing with yourself while the Manhattans, all watered down, watch from the sidelines like sports recruiters. Unwavering night lights alone, the ones with bulbs, not happiness but electricity, made me feel when I was a kid like the darkness was incomplete, and making up its incompleteness was a teardrop aglow, which had the bonus effect of keeping me safe. Now they dance in estrangement, a prudency of lights and aft happenings, like much else that was once redwood. Don't ask me to recount it, for I cannot climb well. The cat purring in time, I think I've pinned her position. A wind questions the provenance of what? Something, refusing to wake the neighbors with the shell of the origin. These night lights, 3 a.m., bring down my house, a silent disco, half traceable and emptied of truth by first light. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Russell. Have you got anything else for us?
Yeah, I had one more, actually.
Go for it.
It's not published anywhere. I have, let's see. This poem is it's called Heirloom, and it's actually about this extremely heavy bear that I keep on my desk. And it belonged to my grandparents, and I've carried it with me ever since they passed away. It was a sculpture, an art piece, something I hadn't paid for. Given to me at some point I couldn't remember. The bear weighed more than my organs, separate or combined, and was worth as much as the vitals. The size of a real bear's paw, an heirloom, it came from my grandparents, their house where it lived for decades on a small wooden table, unfeeling of the bear's weight. Fashioned in marble, the bear itself housed and continues to house the weights of my grandparents' lives long after they're dead. The bear sculpture has sat quietly for months on end. Not always static, it has spoken for 3 weeks straight on the subject of heirlooms. I'm not an heirloom, the bear said, a broken record. I'm a different bear from the bear that lived in your grandparents' house. This followed by more silence for months on end. Months as cylinders stacked into pneumatic tubes. The bears and my double-sided stethoscope. We listened to each other's heartbeats, but one lost the tug of war, and the cat got angry enough to knock the marble bear from the surface of the house writing desk. Such a noise thundered about the apartment that the downstairs neighbor came up and said she swore she'd heard a heart beat through the floor. We assured her that an heirloom had fallen, and she asked her if we meant tomato. After we said goodbye, almost forgetting what sound had spurred the discussion, we checked on the bear, found it on its side, marble legs suspended. The original marble, shards of the slab from which it was sculpted, framing its form, thick but dog-like on the floor. We set the table in front of not Icarus and cut into its acidic purple-red flesh behind the green-gray veil of stone. Our minds flooded with intruder memories, the okays of not our generation, biting in or backwards. Furthermore, I began to assess whether or not I'd failed to uphold my one job regarding despair, which was to make sure nothing bad happened to it. Thank you. The irony of that is that this bear is probably indestructible. Anyway, thank you all.
For reading. If you've got, again, anything to plug, just leave it in our chat for us. And I'm sure people will go ahead and click. I'm mindful that we are losing time here. I think we've lost Nora. Has she gone already? Or are you still here, Nora? No. Okay. I think we've lost her. Okay, so if it's okay from here on in, to make sure that we don't lose time for anybody else, remaining readers, if we can just do one each, that'd be wonderful. And then if we've still got time beyond that, we'll come back and do a second one, if anybody wants to read again, if that's okay with everybody. Perhaps that's me getting a little bit excited and talking in between poems and listening to everybody read. Barney, I've got you next. Are you ready to go?
Sure, yeah. Thanks for organising this, and to Lizzie and Shantae Marie at Reside, who I'm thrilled to be representing on this lovely inspirational evening. I'm going to read my work, short work from Reside number 3. It was called Dissolute Criss Connection. Hope cracked asunder. These hours basted in the chiding cling of weight. The metronomic, blustering bluff of trains track sidelings in and off, ousting knout. Our once mutual mindfulness now fissured in this invanity of matting days. Your lunge of lateness fracturates the staid malaise of weeks with its weeping, drop-kicked emptinesses, rebounding on the stall walls, veneered in a clabbering, excremental logic, a decremental reason, a shuttering, muting the overtures of your overages of passé, pawny love to a mere dying waft of pixel kiss lost within a wonk of digital reminisce that, if swiped, is our only currency.
And Barney, you didn't just read that for us, you acted that for us, didn't you?
Oh, thank you.
That was wonderful. Thank you very much. Very dramatic.
Oh, you're welcome.
Again, leave your links to socials and any publications here or on our Discord chat. It'd be wonderful to use this time for such reasons, plugging each other. Okay, next up on my list is Simon. Simon, are you still here?
Yes, I am here. Hello, hello.
Hi, Simon. Are you ready to read?
I am, yes.
Okie dokie, go for it.
Okay, this is from Reside, so thank you to Lizzie for giving it a home. This is called Mad Men Running. It's from issue 7, Dreams. Bad men running in the rain, driving home on the wrong side of the road. You get home and you try the door, the key don't fit. You don't live here no more, says some old lady. You're like, who are you? And the rain's still falling and she looks at you and you say, this is not my beautiful wife and this is not my beautiful house. And you feel the baby kick and you say, help me, Christ. You get back in your car, you put it in drive, you close your eyes and listen to your tinnitus. A spirit passes by your face, there's a devil inside us. The hairs on your body stand on end. Is this how it ends? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed that. Did you say you were in issue 7 of Reside, Simon?
Yeah, I think it was issue 7.
With a couple of other people who were all in the same issue.
Yeah, I think somebody was at her flash fiction there. Yeah, it's a
Excellent.
great magazine.
Superb. And I have, for some reason, closed the tab. Where am I up to? What have I done that for? Okay. Moving on. It was due to be Nora, but Nora's not here. So, Tucker, are you still with us?
I am here.
Hi, there seems to be a bit of feedback there. But
All right,
I'll
let
leave
me
it with
move.
you to go ahead.
I'll move 2 seconds.
Okay, since that we're overrunning a bit, I don't
I
know.
have moved. Is that better?
Yeah, a little. If you just give me a second, because we're overrunning a little bit, I don't know whether we're going to have time to offer a break. Is everybody okay with that? I mean, obviously, you can all dip out if you need to. Or we fine. Let me know if you're not. Right, okie dokie. We just carry on. I'll leave it with you, Tucker. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to read one poem from my Enkidu collection. It's about friendship between men. This poem is called Seeing the Invisible. In dreams, I turn and turn the tablet. Nothing tracks. The first side, the reverse side, the third side. Endings are restarts, beginnings forgotten, middles outside time, fragments not recovered, no herb of pure friendship. We are made of dead ancestors, their pots, our bellies, their groans, our battle cries, their chaos, our ruin. I brought the physician to Enkidu's side. I made Enkidu vanish. This event can't be undone. A doubled meaning can't be unfelt. We are buried in the poem. We can't hear our names. No one carves the tablet. The clay is outside time, and we are cuneiform. Who were we before this puddle rainbow schism, before we were stamped by an Ishtar mad bull? Grief is a truth, threat haunted, hoary. Hearing and understanding bay at each other. May the feast bringer not deliver empty bowls. May we stop swallowing air. May the feast bringer starve us swiftly. May there be no more feasts of loss. I, Gilgamesh, ask of what was lost. Will it come back? Enkidu does not answer. Grief answers. Grief asks if I, Gilgamesh, return to myself. The greater the distance, the more I feel you. The longer the silence, the more I hear you. I understand you are coming to life in my mind, that what ends becomes a poem, a tablet carved with heat. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tucker. Where might we find your work?
I have a website, which is my name, tuckerlieberman.com.
Excellent. Going to leave it in the chat for us so we can check it out
I will.
later? Thank you.
I shall do so. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thanks for the
You
opportunity.
made an impression on a couple of people there, definitely. Their chaos, our ruin, was my standout line in that poem. So thank you.
Delighted to be here.
Okay, so the next name on my list, Somto. Is Somto here with us?
Hello. Yeah, I'm here.
Hi there. You don't have your camera on. That's fine. But I can let
it's not?
It says it's not on at the moment. There we are. I can see you now.
Okay. All right.
I'll leave it with you, Somto.
All right. I'm reading a poem, Stranger's Gifts, by my dear friend Owen. I'm reading from Lagos, Nigeria. We were never alone, like blissful sacrificial truths, carried by our sisters of age on their lips. And time passed, and we wandered once more, fetching metal in our hands and keeping grey lines in our pockets. We know these things, everything, like little phoenix truths. There may be pleasure in burning after all. Any price is paid to become after all. We know that is becoming in itself, and we will continue to hold these jewels to our chest, enduring the technicalities of consciousness, faces against the dust, until the rains come and try to wash us, first into reason, and then into oblivion. Thank you. Hello?
I'm still on mute. Apologies, Somto. Thank you very much for reading that for us. From, you said Lagos, didn't you?
Yeah, from Lagos, yeah.
There are you're one of a number of poets that have come sort of into my consciousness from Lagos, Nigeria at the moment. I mean, there appears to be like a real boom over there on that sort of indie poetry scene at the minute.
Yeah, that's, yeah. Thank you. All right.
Okie dokie. Have we got Foy with us at this point, or is it Foy that's having technical issues entering? Okay, so we'll just move on to Dave Hamlin, if you're available.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Dave.
Thanks, Alan.
I'll step to one side.
I was going to read a new one, but I think actually I'm just going to read, it's a good opportunity to read from my collection. It came out last year, about a year ago. Yeah, around now. So I'm going to read the first poem from the collection. It's called I'll Never Forget the Dead Fox on the Roadside with its guts hanging out. Because I'd never seen a fox on my council estate before. Because the first time I did, it was daylight and it was dead. Because I was 7 or 8 years old at the time. Because I too only came out in the dark. Because its body was slack as a half-tide overflowing bin bag dumped on a curbside. Its fur bloodied, matted with small bits of rubber and gravel. Because days later it was swarming with flies, and if you got close enough, the smell of rotting flesh, sharp and fetid, coated itself thick as plasterboard on your nostril walls. Because I imagined unrelenting screeches, machine versus feral, how someone had torn tire through muscle, easy as unzipping a tent, untangled its mass from their bumper, then carried it and discarded it on the roadside. How grueling this must have been, yet how tossed like a pancake the creature looked. Because it was the embodiment of abandon, because it was disemboweled, bruised purple, swollen spaghetti marinated in roadkill crimson. Because I too had been gutted by a district called home. Because one time a bully from entrance to exit held a penknife against my gut as I panic walked through the local shopping centre, my school shoes scuffing and screeching against the bubble patterned rubber flooring, each bubble theorizing into a gravestone. Because it was stillness after chaos. Because we walked past it every day on our way to school, our hands like blinds, tremble covering our eyes as we peeked through open slap fingers. Because it was facing away from us and I never saw its face, just its triangle ears that looked pricked. Because against all reason, this still gave me some droplet of hope. Because that's how I learned to endure. Because it was pet smooth, coat fire alive. Because it was a festering knot of blood-soaked snakes. Because it was more outside of itself than in. Because it was honest. Because when it was finally gone, our neighborhood, a body it was surgically removed from, with not a trace of flesh or entrails left, not a speck of blood, it was as if nothing had happened. Because it was always like this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dave. Dave was touring the UK with Eli Horan last February when we had our our launch party for that first issue, and I haven't told him this yet. But your poetry that night, Dave, and the subject matter played a major role, and I want to thank you for this, like from the bottom of my heart. In my son's coming out just before Christmas. Okay, so it really sort of resonated with him, and he felt brave enough afterwards. So thank you.
That's just like really amazing. I'm so glad they had that effect and gave him that inspiration. I'm really glad.
The power of poetry, eh? That's why we're all here.
Yeah.
I'm going to rush on and speak to Katie. Katie Stockton, are you ready to read?
I am ready to read. Hello, everyone.
Hi,
My name's
Katie.
Katie. I was previously published in issue 1 of Reside, I think. 1. And I'm going to be reading a new poem I've written called If You Had to Say. If you had to say, am I more from the world or just of it? Do you agree that sometimes all that is left to believe in is grammar, if you had to say? If you had to choose sugar or sorcery, and if you would, which sibilant reminds you more of me? If my name was an anagram, which letter would come first? Like an anagram, I'm always appearing inside out. Everyone else is so damn good at being more than the sum of their parts. I spend the day not thinking about myself. Muscle memory, easy. I am the only thing living inside my body. I've checked. If I think too hard about anatomy, I want to walk out of myself like the parent that went out for a packet of cigarettes and simply never returned. If you had to say, am I rising or setting? If this body were an orange peel, a mirror, a blessing, any perfect thing with a perfect membrane, would I fit inside the curve of a vowel? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Katie. Beautiful.
Thank you.
The next person on the list, I think, is Steve. But if I remember right, he's not reading. I think that's what the message Stevie said from Ellie. So that leaves us with just Jay and myself. Okay, Steve, I see there. Jay, do you want to go before me?
Sure, you go on ahead.
You sure? Oh, you want to be the headliner? Is that what it is?
No, it's it's age before beauty, Alan.
I'm gonna get you for that one, right?
You should.
Right, okie dokie. I'll read my poem In Havana, which is from the collection Neon Ghosts, which is available at on our website. It's a poem that was written after I travelled to Cuba on my honeymoon with my wife. It's a special place. Where did we go? La Floriditas, which I think is where Hemingway invented the daiquiri. In Havana, amidst ghost of writers, stand battle-worn bronzes of revolutionaries. In Havana, locks of cigar smoke drift from old men in white hats sat on wrought iron balconies. In Havana, honeyed air is punctured by the lilt of jazz guitars and rhyme of paired verse. In Havana, elaborate archways are proudly painted in slone-beached Caribbean pastels. In Havana, people spill from coffee shops, drunk on pulsing beats and the wealth of history. Thank you very much. Very kind. Them silent claps are surreal, aren't they? Thank you very much. Go on, Jay.
Oh, is it my turn now?
It is.
This poem's called We're Still Here. It's an Ubermensch undertaking, for certain. to risk living, to choose playing the losing side, to bet against the odds, to pick the gammy horse. It's braver than submitting to an unearned defeat. There's hope yet in fight. While we're still here, life springs eternal. Boxing's in our blood, fighting's in our guts, scrapping's in our souls. We were born with the grace of ignorance. We learn this burden will be unborn. None of us will come out of this battle alive. That much we know. Falling blisters, standing first. Ovation be damned, don't you think? When we fall alone, but not in a standing room. It's an ephemera earth, but we can still chip away at it, bleed for it, paint on it, while we have it. You're muted, Alan.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I love Jay's work. It has like kind of reverence about it. There's always a comic undertone, whether it's intentional or not. It's a key part of his work. And we were talking about, weren't we, earlier, featured poets. Jay's going to be one of the other featured poets in the forthcoming edition of The Broken Spine. So he's got more than double page spread, I think.
Oh, do it? Oh, shit.
Yeah. Well, one's a longer piece, but they speak definitely of who you are as a writer. Great examples of your work. We have managed to get through everybody, I think. Did Floyd manage to come back to us, or
I don't think he was able to get in, or they were able to get in. Sorry.
Okie dokie. So, I mean, we are sort of 15 minutes ahead of time. Anybody like beyond Barney who only read once, do they have an urge to read again? I know we sort of rushed through them last year to make sure we made the time. Anybody else who wants to step forward, just let me know in the chat or speak now. Okay,
I'd love
David.
to read another one, Alan. That's okay.
Yeah, go for it. We've got a little bit of time. We caught up.
Shall I go for it now? Yeah, okay, thumbs up. So I wrote this one today, actually. So this is a new poem. It's called This Crow, This Life. Life is a murder of gloss and doom, core and flight. I'm sitting cross-legged on the kitchen worktop, opposite a sink holding a ceramic biscuit barrel soaking in warm soapy water, adjacent to a double-glazed window, streaked and cornered with cobwebs. The windowsill is crowded with half-filled detergent bottles, an oversized wine glass, 2 teapots, vase-choked lilies. I push the window open as far as it will go. The sun, apparent, fully clothes me in sunlight, and I wonder how far we'll all go. It's another Sunday. The world is motionless, at least from my small view. But wait, a Yorkshire Terrier sprints along a garden path, shaking its head and tail. In outdoor releasing, day-starting excitement. Its owner, a bob-haired, straw-haired, middle-aged woman, starts pottering in her paint-stripped garden shed. I can't see even one leaf on the 3 oak trees that are rooted in lumpy earth, standing tall as Nobel Prize winners. Just a solitary crow perched on one of their thick, mossy arms. A dinosaur, a black feathered omen of our skin-sealed fate. But wait, look closer at its plumage. Iridescence, purple, green. And that's it. Thank you. Thanks for letting me read again. Cheers.
It's okay. Thank you for stepping up, David. That was lovely. Fantastic to hear something so fresh as well. Only just written. Brilliant. Barney and Simon, I think, are going to read. So should we go Barney, then Simon, and then we'll wrap things up? Is that okay, everyone? Excellent.
Oh, thank you. This is just from a short one from my recent pamphlet, Café Kaput from Broken Sleep Books. It's called And I Liked It. The plasterboard and base blue asbestos panels beneath are sodden to a stout porridge and listing with their murky, sewage-infested, polluted moistness, and thirsty me scrunches a fistful of the pulp and gulps at the quenching drippage. I know the taste. I bit asbestos tiles as a kid, and I liked it. Thank you.
Excellent, Barney. Thank you very much. Love listening to you read. So we're going to finish with Simon.
Okay, yeah, no, yeah, I love hearing Barney read. It's always entertaining.
Simon, you are the main event. Go for it.
Thank you very much, guys. It's been a great night. So, called Cold Caller. This was in Burnt Breakfast magazine recently. He phoned me, the scammer, and said he would never forget his mother's words as she gives him everything he might ever own. You'll grow into it. By the sound of his voice, he had a way to go, but I know and suspect it's all part of the script, so I hung up before he could rob me. He calls me daily, pre-recorded, but I have a thing for analog warmth. I let the phone ring 4 times. My own mother said play hard to get. Picking up, I never know for sure until I hear the silence, hear the click.
Okay. Lizzie, do you have any final words to say before we go? Or Jay?
Nothing particularly other than thank you all for coming, and we hope you can see you again at another one of these in the future. And also, please submit to Reside if you haven't already.
Excellent.
What she
Jay?
said.
What she said. What he said. Okay, so for I know Paul's not managed to be with us tonight, my co-editor, but I'm sure he would have been if he'd been free. So I want to say, echo what they've said previously. Thank you for coming. Do look out for submission opportunities. We open again sort of for general reading again on April 1st. We'll be open for the whole month. Obviously, there'll be that flash fiction that'll be forthcoming as well. Details will drop at some point in the next month. And big thank you to everybody over on Zoom who's over on Twitch who's either just been watching or has left us a little tip in the jar. Really appreciate all of that. And we'll be doing this monthly, hopefully. I think it's been a bit of a success. I know we've lost one person and a couple of technical issues, but it's nothing we can't iron out going forward. All right, so I hope you've all enjoyed yourself. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.